Hi everyone, I'm Keyu and these are my teammates Christina, Vanessa, Qianqian, and Haiyue. The table on the slide shows that compared to the previous decade, there is a decline in the growth of labor productivity during the period from 2006 to 2017. The article Why is productivity slowing down therefore explains the labor productivity slowdown problem. The author argues that a lower TFP and capital deepening is the main contributor to the productivity slowdown. While there are some other factors, such as labor composition and some unique problems in different countries should also be involved in the consideration of productivity slowing down, because the problem is caused by the combination of several factors rather than one decisive factor. In this video, we will discuss the relationship and difference between our course content and some interesting points from section 2 and 8. We suggest that TFP and capital deepening used to explain country and industry differences share similar concepts with solo model. Also, research productivity discussed in the 8th section is related to the knowledge accumulation in Raman model. However, we still find some potential problems in the article that make it less convincing. One problem is that despite the evidence from 5 developed countries, there remains a positive data from developing countries. And another of our opinion is that TFP reduction caused by the changing composition of labor force in Section 5 may not be absolute. We seek to figure out some positive effects caused by an aging population and leisure technologies on labor productivity.
Firstly, refer to lecture, we learned that solo model arguments the production model with capital accumulation. TFP as a factor in the model, A by is endogenous. The model only shows that the low-level TFP implies that workers produce less output for any given level of capital per person. High-level TFP show high productivity. The growth rates among countries are different and they are determined by TFP. In solo model, the growth rate and the determination of each country's steady state is determined by the environment rate and TFP. TFP in poor countries are lower than in rich countries. The graph can show that. But the model didn't explain the reason about different countries have different productivities. Capital in this model have diminishing returns. As an economic accumulates capital, the marginal product of capital declines. Each additional unit of capital produces a smaller and smaller gain in output, so that eventually the additional output produced by investment is only enough to offset the wear and tear associated with depreciation. At this point, growth stops in the solo model. Therefore, no matter TFP is high or low value, in the long run, it will still in a steady state. There's no long-term growth occur. From robot model, ideas are infinite. Sustained economic growth occurs because of new ideas. Idea itself is non-rival and excludable. Therefore, its increasing return to scale and knowledge. Thus, TFP is an endogenous. It shows a substantial growth at a constant rate G.
Now I will move on to talk about some of the similarities and differences comparing to the lecture series we learned. So we focus on section 2, which discuss the two decomposition ways of labor productivity. One is that the source of growth decomposition, and the finding is quite different from the lecture, as we discovered that differences between countries are contributed by TFP slowing down and the capital dampening. And the other part is kind of an application to our Roman model. And this is the basic difference I want to focus on. This is that mentioning in this essay that TFP is now a key factor of interest instead of an endogenous factor, and we are now focusing more about capital deepening rather than the capital accumulation as mentioned in our model, and two of the countries are provided as the evidence to support this theory in the essay. And now I will move to the next point as the differences. So here, there is a more narrow focus compared to our lecture. So there are only 5 countries being discussed. And the application to our lecture's concept is on the steady state. So here, it mentions in the appendix 2 that different countries have different slowing down periods of productivity. And as we can see from this graph, that US seems to approaching the steady state compared to other countries in an earlier stage. And now I want to discuss some of the interesting factors that we discovered from section 2. So one is that it's focusing on explain the fall down in the TFP across in different countries and different industries. And the only common factor is manufacturing, whereas the other are more country specific. And now I will move on to section 8 as it mentions some of the points that are different from our lecture theory. And the first hypothesis is that the stock of ideas rather than the constant growth rate of ideas. So in this case, one example is that the Industrial Revolution has made the most easier ideas being implemented, and then the idea rate seems to be slowing down. And the other one is the new ideas will arise out of existing ideas. In this case, there are more efforts that need to be put into research new ideas. So in reality, that it can quite different from normal model, as the constant rate of growth in idea is now becoming diminishing.
We will now move on to critically evaluate this essay, which will be focused on the limitation lies in the methodology used, as well as the criticism point on aging population and leisure technology. Firstly, the paper only considered data from 5 developed countries, which are France, Germany, Japan, the UK, and the US. These countries are chosen because they are the largest and most industrialized advanced country in the world. However, they may not be representative of the productivity growth trend in other parts of the world, particularly in developing countries. Therefore, the paper's conclusion cannot be generalized to all countries and economics. Secondly, this paper only considered data up to 2016, which may not provide a comprehensive picture of the current productivity trend, considering that the current economic event had created earth-shaking change in the world. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 and the 2022 Ukraine-Russian war, which have significant impact on productivity growth. All these important recent events are not reflected in this paper's analysis. Therefore, the finding of the paper may not be fully applicable to the current economic context.
So to critically analyze the effect of aging on the economy's total factor productivity, one negative impact on TFP is due to the decline in labor force participation and the reduction in the number of workers available to generate output. This reduction in labor supply can lead to a decline in TFP if it is not offset by increase in labor productivity or capital investment. Additionally, older workers may be less productive due to declined health and cognitive abilities, which could further reduce TFP. Another point to note is that an aging population will lead to a reduction in investment as the population grows elderly. The demand for certain types of goods and services, such as healthcare and housing, may increase, diverting the resources away from the investment in productive capital. On the other hand, older workers may be more experienced and skills, leading to higher productivity where they are more likely to engage in entrepreneurship or other types of innovation that can lead to improvements in the TFP. The leisure technology has also enabled a rise in working time outside the office. While commuting at home, traveling, or on holiday, this had led to an increase in the number of hours worked and has facilitated remote working arrangements. Furthermore, leisure technologies have also enabled business to automate some tasks, which can increase the productivity. The overall impact of leisure technologies on TFP is complex and depending on several factors, such as the type of technology and industry in which it used, where there is evidence of a decline in leisure productivity since 1978. And it is important to note that the impact of leisure technologies on TFP is likely to be different in different industries. For example, in the entertainment industry, the use of leisure technologies may increase the TFP.
Okay, to sum up, we have explained the relevance between the article and our course content, and we make our own evaluation. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye.